Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Santa Lucia Annual Stockholders Meeting. We'll be starting in a few moments. And to start the meeting, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Annual Stockholders Meeting, Santa Lucia Land Inc., being conducted via video conference. My kind request all participants to keep their microphones on mute. We shall start our proceedings with an opening prayer in the Philippine national anthem. Let's put ourselves in the presence of the birthday and the Father's Son. Awesome God, thank you for this gathering. Thank you for our stockholders, board of directors, management, and all the team prepared for this. Pray for our good internet. We pray for our speakers. We pray for our company so that we can continuously grow, so we can expand and help more people here and around. All this we do in our mighty name. The Father, Son. Now we'll play the Philippine national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, kaya sa sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuyagan ang magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit o bagaw, ay hinatang tulatawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang katawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di matitinig. Luman ang araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya na pagkay pag-amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you. We shall now begin the meeting proper. We welcome our chairman, Mr. Vicente Artaya. Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, everyone. To safeguard the interests of the stockholders and participants of today's meeting, the annual stockholders meeting is an online-only event. On behalf of the board of directors and the management of Santa Lucia Land Incorporated, I wish to extend my warmest and appreciation for the participation of our stockholders at today's annual stockholders meeting. Joining us today is a meeting for the directors and officers of the corporation. Officers are Vicente Santos, Ezekiel Robles, David De La Cruz, Marisa Santos Tan, Aurora Robles, Patricia Bunic, Eric D. Kimchi, Crystal Prado, and Jeremiah Pampolina. Hanani Palmon. The directors are Vicente Santos, Ezekiel D. Robles, Antonio D. Robles, Aurora D. Robles, Semyon Escua, Marisa R. Santos Tan, Orestes R. Santos, Danilo A. Antonio, Justice Renato C. Francisco. I will now put the meeting to order. The first order of business is a certification by the Secretary of the sending of due notice to all the stockholders of the corporation and the determination of existence of a quorum. May I request the Secretary to please certify as to the proper sending of notice and the existence of a quorum consistent with the corporation bylaws.
Mr. Chairman, for purposes of this annual stockholders meeting, notice is hereby given that the proceedings are being recorded in accordance with the Anti-Wiretapping Act in relation to SEC Memorandum Circular Number 6, Series of 2020. Accordingly, I hereby certify that notices of today's annual stockholders meeting have been published in the business section of two newspapers of general circulation, the Manila Bulletin and Philippine Star, and online in the Manila Bulletin and Business World on 29 and 30 May 2025, respectively. In print and online format, in compliance with the SEC notice dated 12 March 2025. Moreover, electronic copies of the notice of today's meeting, information statement and management report, and annual report are available on the corporation's website and have been disclosed on PSE Edge. Further, I have examined all proxies on file and the list of stockholders present at today's meeting. On the basis of my examination, I certify that out of the total number of shares outstanding as of 16 May 2025, the holders of 1,429,997 shares are present through remote communication, while the holders of 6,701,005,767 shares are present by proxy, for a total of 6,702,435,764 shares registered as present. This represents 80.7868% of the total outstanding shares. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I certify that the quorum is present for the transaction of business by the shareholders.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I hereby declare the existence of a quorum. Pursuant to Section 49 of the Revised Corporation Code, may I request the Secretary to please discuss the materials, information of the current stockholders and their voting rights?
Mr. Chairman, based on the list of stockholders as of 16 May 2025, prepared by the corporation's stock transfer agent, there are 264 stockholders of the corporation. With regard to their voting rights, at each meeting of the stockholders, every stockholder shall be entitled to vote in person or by proxy through remote communication or in absentia for each share of stock held by him which has voting power upon the matter in question. A majority of the subscribed capital present in person or represented by proxy shall be sufficient to constitute a quorum for the election of directors and for the transaction of any business whatsoever, except in those cases in which the revised corporation code requires the affirmative vote of a greater portion. A description of the voting procedure for the election of directors, and except upon demand by any stockholder, the votes upon any question before the meeting, except for the procedural questions determined by the chairman of the meeting, is available on the corporation's website. A description of stockholders' voting rights was included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available in the corporation's website or on PSE Edge.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We shall now proceed to the next item in the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the review and approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held last June 14th of 2024. Copies of the said minutes are available on the corporation website. May I request the Secretary to discuss the proposed resolution and voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution being flashed on the screen is being proposed. Of the votes cast, 100% of the shares represented in the meeting voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the report on the Board of Directors. May I now call our Chief Compliance Officer, Mr. Jeremiah Campolina, to present the report of the Board of Directors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the profiles and qualifications of the directors were included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available on the company's website or on PSE. For the year 2024-2025, the meetings held were as follows. Annual Stockholders Meeting dated June 14, 2024, Organizational Meeting of the Board of Directors, June 14, 2024, and Special Meeting of the Board of Directors, November 7, 2024. The attendance report of the Board of Directors is as follows. Vicente R. Santos, 3 meetings, Ezequiel D. Robles, 3, Marisa Santos Stan, 3, Aurora D. Robles, 3, Antonio D. Robles, 3, Simeon Escua, 3, Orestes R. Santos, 3, Danilo A. Antonio, 3, and retired Court of Appeals Justice Renata C. Francisco. The related party transactions involving the board of directors were included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available on the corporation's website or in PSH. With regard to the compensation report, the directors do not receive any form of compensation except in the case of directors for a per diem of 15,000 per meeting of the board. Apart from the per diem in the amount of 15,000 pesos, there are no standard rate or other arrangements between the corporation and the directors. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pangilinan. We shall proceed to the next item on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the report of the President. May I now call the President, Mr. Ezequiel D. Robles, to present the report of the President.
Good morning to our stockholders, members of the Santa Lucia Land Incorporated, and board of directors and officers, and distinguished VIP guests. It is my pleasure to present the latest development and achievements of Santa Lucia Land Incorporated for the year 2024. We are proud to report gross revenues of 12 billion while achieving a new high in net income of 4.2 billion, representing annual increase of 6.9% and 13.5% respectively. Our balance sheet continues to strengthen, the total asset rising steadily by 9.89% to the record of 68 billion. This performance reflects our unwavering growth momentum, driven by strategic land banking initiatives as the shift toward provincial market accelerate in the residential sector. In 2024, Santa Lucia Land expanded its land holding through acquisition and joint venture, totaling over 1,290 million square meters. This development were approved by our board of directors and expanded across key locations nationwide, including Cavite, Laguna, Cabuyao, Laguna, San Benito, Laguna, Bawan, Batangas, Dian, Batangas, San Juan, Batangas, Antipolo, Rizal, San Mateo, Rizal, Taytay, Rizal, Bayanban, Pangasinan, Subic, Zambales, Plaridel, Bulacan, Mexico, Pampanga, Gapan, Nueva Ecija, and Dumangas, Iloilo. In addition, we are exploring development partnership for our commercial properties with over 2 million square meters of potential project nationwide. This initiative are aimed to diversify and increase our current revenue streams. We are also excited to announce the upcoming launch of Santa Lucia Mall in Davao, strategically located at Davao International Airport. This transit-oriented lifestyle mall spans over 40,000 square meter gross floor area and offering 24,000 square meter gross leasable space. The mall is positioned to serve local and international travelers as well as surrounding residential communities, further strengthening our presence in Mindanao. In 2024, our airport was garnered prestigious accolades, including Philippine Growth Champion 2024 by Vista, C-Suite Award 2024 by Philippine Best Real Estate Recognition for our chairman, CEO, and CFO, World Award 2024 for People Reach the Paldo Course and Orchard Work and Country Club Palmer Course as the Philippine Best Workforces. This award underscores our commitment to excellence and reflects our core values of service, leadership, and integrity. As we chart the path ahead, we remain optimistic about our sustained growth and success. Our solid foundation allows us to advance to new heights, continually enchanting value for our clients, partners, and stakeholders. With unwavering dedication, we will build on this momentum to deliver better service, innovative developments, and sustainable communities. I extend my deepest gratitude to our hardworking team dedicated board members, senior management, and steadfast partners for your unwavering support over the years. Together, we will continue to create transformative real estate development here in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robles. We shall proceed into the next item in the agenda. In accordance with the standard corporate practice, the next item on the agenda is the request for the ratification of all acts of the Board of Directors and the management of the corporation from June 14, 2024 to June 19, 2025. May I request the Secretary to discuss the proposed resolution and voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, the list of all acts of the Board of Directors and the management of the corporation from June 14, 2024 to June 19, 2025 are being flashed on the screen. Further, the adoption of the resolution being flashed on the screen is being proposed. Of the votes cast, 100% of the shares represented in the meeting voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item on the agenda. Pursuant to the provision of the bylaws, the members of the Board of Directors will have to be elected for 2025-2026. Pursuant to amended bylaws of the corporation on the nomination procedure for the corporation independent directors, I and the President, Mr. Ezekiel Robles, submitted signed nomination to the nomination committee. The nomination committee then pre-screened the nominations and disclosed the name of the nominees to the SEC in the corporation information statement. With regard to the 7 members of the Board of Directors of the corporation for the year 2025 to 2026, stockholders submitted their signed nomination to the nomination committee. The corporate secretary is now requested to announce the nominees for the independent directors of the corporation for the year 2025-2026 as shortlisted by the nomination committee and the nominees of the directors of the corporation for the year 2025 to 2026.
The following are the nominees for independent directors of the corporation for the year 2025 to 2026. Retired Court of Appeals Justice Renato C. Francisco and Danilo A. Antonio. The following are the nominees for directors of the corporation for the year 2025 to 2026. Vicente R. Santos, Ezekiel D. Robles, Antonio D. Robles, Aurora D. Robles, Marisa Santos Tan, Orestes R. Santos, and Simeon S. Hua. The qualifications of the nominees were included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available on the company's website or on PSD Edge.
Thank you. May I request the voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, based on the tally of votes as confirmed by the transfer agent, Professional Stock Transfer Incorporated, the 2 nominees for independent directors and 7 nominees for directors of the corporation are declared duly elected as directors of the corporation for the year 2025 to 2026. The votes garnered by each director based on the number of shares represented in this meeting are shown on the screen. The total election votes amounted to 100%.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. Every year, the stockholders appoint the external auditor of the corporation for the ensuing year. This agenda item is for the appointment of CC Flores Velaya and Company as the external auditor of the corporation for the calendar year 2025 to 2026. May I request the Secretary to discuss the proposed resolution and voting results for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution being flashed on the screen is being proposed. Of the votes cast, 100% of the shares represented in the meeting voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
Thank you. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. We will now address the question and comments from the stockholders sent via email as stated in the guidelines of participation for this meeting, available on the corporation website.
Mr. Chairman, there were no questions sent as of the cutoff deadline yesterday at 12 noon. So this concludes our question and answer portion. As stated in the guidelines, we will reply to all other questions and comments by sending an email directly to the stockholders. I will now turn over the floor to the chairman.
Thank you. There being no other matter to be considered for this meeting. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for participating at the 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting of the Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That ends our Santa Lucia Land Inc. Annual Stockholders Meeting. Thank you very much. Maraming